What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update here from Raphael Brandao. This was posted just about an hour ago, and right now I believe we're 22 days away from the 2023 Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio, and in my opinion, I think this is the most impressive update that Raphael has posted up until this point. Maybe this one, and then that front lat spread that Flex Lewis posted on his behalf. I think that looking at this is without a doubt the biggest we've ever seen Raphael. We know he took a little bit of time off to put on some size and make improvements. That was pretty evident. In a lot of these off-season pictures we saw of him, he looked bigger than he's ever looked. And I think now that he's dialed down and dieted down, you can see the result, the fruits of that labor. When you just look at the upper body width and fullness that he has here, I mean, there's no denying that he's put on a tremendous amount of size. And I really am starting to believe he could be a top 3 contender. I think he's going to be in there with Samson and Hadi. Now, granted, we haven't really seen much of his back. We haven't seen too many physique updates that show his back. They are mostly just these front-on shots. We've seen a couple of videos where he hits some side shots, but mostly we're seeing these most musculars, front double bicep, front lat spread. So really only showing us one side of him, and that's fine. I mean, he's not on stage yet, so we don't have to see it. But I think it is worth mentioning that I think we're probably seeing only his best shots. So when you look at this and see how impressive he looks, I think just take it with a slight grain of salt because we haven't seen really his entire physique yet. Like with Samson, for example, on almost a weekly basis, posting a full posing video, front, back, side, like 90 seconds long. Whereas I do kind of feel with Raphael, we're mostly seeing his best shots, and maybe that's why he looks so impressive, but in any case, I think anybody that's counting out Raphael is going to be mistaken. I really think he's going to be doing some big damage here. And at 3 weeks out, with the exception of Samson and Hadi, this is one of the more impressive updates I've seen from all the other guys in this lineup. And we're going to talk about a lot of those guys in this video, because I know typically it just becomes a conversation about Hadi and Samson because those are the main 2 guys. But I want to talk about some of the guys we don't talk about as much, starting with Jon Delarosa. So we got a brand new update of Jon today, posted by his coach, Patrick Torr. Again, this is 3 weeks out. A front double bicep shot. His coach says this is a screenshot from his check-ins today. So a screenshot from a video. And honestly, I think the front double bicep is one of Jon's strongest shots. I'm looking at this, and the only real criticism I have of Jon in this shot, because he's got a tremendous upper body, tremendous taper. You can see the wide flaring lats, great arms. To me, in these pictures, his legs look a little bit downsized from what they used to be. I don't know if you guys are noticing that as well, but that was really the only thing that I had from a critical standpoint looking at this. You know, Jon could easily find himself in this conversation too. I mean, he's a guy known for conditioning. He's a guy that could probably catch a lot of these guys. If any of them are slipping, if Jon comes in really sharp, I mean, he's got a really complete physique for the most part. And he's been around for a long time. He's been around for like 15 years. And he posted another update on his page a couple days ago, and again, just kind of the same thing. The legs, to me, look a little bit undersized from what they used to be, and you're not seeing those real deep, crazy cuts in the quads like we're seeing with some of these guys like Hadi and Samson, and even with Raphael a couple of weeks ago when we saw that front lat spread that Flex posted. But I think Jon looks pretty good overall, and he's probably going to be a factor here in this lineup. Now, next up in the news, another guy we really haven't talked about at all that's in this lineup is Akim Williams. I don't think he's posted a single physique update from this entire prep for the Arnold. He's posted a lot of training videos, but I don't think we've seen one complete physique update at all other than this video, and this is not a complete physique update, obviously, but showing off the vascularity in his arms. And I think Akim could turn out to be a little bit of a wild card here. I mean, at last year's Arnold Classic, he was top 6. I think people forget that he was actually top 6 at the Olympia in 2020, and he was top 5 at the Arnold Classic in 2021, and I believe he skipped 2022 at the Arnold. But overall, he's been a guy that in recent years has really been in the mix. And it seemed like around 2021 he had really figured out the conditioning recipe, because in the past he had been kind of hit or miss. Then in the last couple years, he was kind of missing again with the conditioning. And he tends to really fly under the radar when he's prepping for a show, and really nobody seems to talk about him because he keeps things really under wraps. He really doesn't post anything physique update-wise. You really don't hear much from him during the off season. But I mean, on paper, when you look at his recent contest history, there's no real reason to think he shouldn't be in the mix. I mean, we should think he's going to be first call out here based on his track record at the last 2 Arnolds that he did. I mean, overall, he's a monstrous dude. He's a massive bodybuilder, really freaky body parts, freaky arms, freaky back, freaky legs. He's a huge guy. It just always comes down to a question of conditioning, and maybe we're totally counting him out here because I think I've only talked about him maybe once or twice, and one of those times was the announcement that he was going to be in the Arnold Classic lineup on the list when it came out. But really, I haven't heard too many people talking about him. I haven't talked about him much. Maybe we're totally, counting this guy out, and he could be in the mix. But I think part of that is because when you've got a guy like Hadi in this lineup that's known for conditioning, he almost never misses. I don't think we have seen him miss when it comes to conditioning. Akim is one of those guys that might be bigger, but is always going to get beaten by somebody like Hadi because of his conditioning. Hadi's a guy that's smaller and catches bigger guys slipping, and Akim in the past has been that bigger guy that slips and gets caught up by a smaller guy with a lot better conditioning. So when I look at that lineup and I see guys like Hadi and Samson that are probably going to be top 2 here, I have a hard time seeing a guy like Akim being the guy that's going to push those top 2 or be in that mix, but he very well could be a first call-out guy, and we haven't really talked about him much at all. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Where do you think Akim is going to place here? Now, another guy that we haven't talked as much about, but we've talked a fair amount, Justin Rodriguez. So he posted an update today, well, in the last 24 hours, that I thought was a really good update because he's posted a lot of updates at the gym where he's really pumped, really full, really vascular. I like this update because of the fact he said it was taken first thing in the morning, his lowest weight in this prep for sure, he says. And you can tell he looks really dry, really lean, a little bit flat, but I think this is a more accurate indicator of what kind of shape he's in than these crazy pumped up gym pictures where he's in perfect goon lighting, all pumped up. I just feel like this is a more accurate representation of what his physique looks like. And the more I look at his updates here recently, the more I think he's going to be a factor. When I'm thinking about the top 5, I'm thinking about Samson, I'm thinking about Hadi, I'm thinking about Raphael, I'm thinking about Horse MD, Marcelo, and I'm also thinking about potentially James or Justin. So actually, let's go ahead and switch on over to James here because we just got an update of James from Milo Sarcev today, who is James' coach. He's also coaching Samson, and he shows James at 270 pounds. He says this is his lightest, so I think it's a good comparison to Justin saying that was his lightest weight as well, and I think they're going to be probably in a similar placing range. But James looks really good too. I think this is some of the most grainy conditioning I've seen of him in a prep. I think this is going to be one of the best packages that James has brought in a very long time. I mean, you scroll through these shots here, and the guy looks like he's carved out of stone. I mean, he looks really impressive in these updates, and I believe that Milo said he started his prep at 300 pounds, so he's down 30 pounds from the peak of his, I guess, off-season you would call it. But I certainly think that looking at these updates from James, he looks to me like he's definitely going to be in that first call-out for top 5, top 6. And potentially he could be even higher than that. You could see him in 4th, maybe 3rd or 4th. I am interested to see him next to Horse MD. I'm interested to see Horse against all these guys because we've actually never seen Horse against James. We've never seen Horse against Hadi. We've never seen Horse against Justin. I think it'll be interesting to see where all these guys place in the mix. Some of these guys we've never seen compete against each other before. Now, I'll end the video with an update that we got from Samson today at 22 days out, so 3 weeks out for Samson. No video this week, but we did get this front double bicep and a side chest. Arguably, I mean, you can see there's a difference with Samson and some of these guys that we've talked about in this video, and I think that's why I've talked so much about Samson and Hadi, because Samson, the level of just quality muscle, the quality mass that Samson brings. Look at this. Look at the detail that he's got to his physique for a guy of his size. And you look at some of these guys that we talked about in this video. I think Samson is just on a whole nother level. And I don't mean any disrespect to some of the other guys that we talked about, but Samson is in almost a different league at this point. When you look at these updates and look at some of the updates that we've looked at so far, it's hard to argue that Samson is not a favorite for a victory or a top 2 placing here. Not just on paper, but just looking at all the updates next to each other. Samson's and Hadi's are by far the 2 most impressive that we've seen on paper and just in the updates. The quality that Samson brings, the size, the structure, the stage presence, the height. If he brings really good conditioning here, this is going to be a hell of a show. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Kind of an Arnold Classic preview video today. What are your Arnold predictions? Let me know your Arnold predictions in the comments of this video. I haven't asked you guys that in a while. What's your top? Give me your top 6 in order in the comments down below. That's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.